You're back for the final episode of Tier C here in the Challenge Series. We'll have Zandvoort, Spa, and Mugello. And the points deficit is certainly looking in Thomas's favor. It's not impossible for James or Thrasher or even Ryan or Hikari to win, per se. But at this point, if you don't have at least 46 points, you're out of it. So, top 7 are the only ones mathematically that can win this championship, and even then, anybody that isn't Thrasher, James, or Thomas is stretching it. So let's get into Zandvoort. I've seen that on pole, but I don't think she'll be staying there for too long, given her track record so far. Only scoring 10 points in 11 races. She's averaging, like, 11th place. Technically speaking, if we go off points alone. She is, on average, not finishing in points. Basically, and I mean, yeah, Thomas starts 8th, which is eh. Bear in mind, he's also way ahead of Hikari, ahead of Ryan, and ahead of James. His only competition that remains is Thrasher, who starts 2 places ahead, in the same car. But also bear in mind, with the exception of Ivan, every car ahead of them is very bad in a straight line. As weird as it is to say about a Corvette, it's true. Caymans don't go very far down a straightaway, neither do Lotuses. So, really, all things go to plan, that's pretty much a net, like, 4th. Maybe for Thomas. And that's if he somehow gets, like, passed off the grid, but that doesn't usually happen. Into the race. That's weird, it says I'm in 7th, that doesn't make any sense. I'm in the pit lane. Yeah, unshockingly, I think Ivan might already be taking the lead away. It lasted for all of 15 seconds. Why am I the leader? No, get that out of here. Thrasher's already up to 4th. No, already up to 3rd. Maybe. He has to get all the way ahead of Travis first, and he's not going to do that just yet. Thomas, meanwhile, still in 8th. Just about put himself in on the grass. Thrasher just totally locked up, I think, and missed that corner trying to pass Travis. I can't exactly fault him for being aggressive, considering he does have to get more points to catch Thomas. But, like, this is a new level. He has to re-overtake Taylor, but this is not a zone to do that. There is a Congo, not a Congo line, the opposite of that. It's a mess back here for kind of around the bottom half. Cam and James too wide. I think Cam ran into James at some point based on the small scratches on the back of his and slight damage on the front. Riley's still somehow in 2nd, I think, and that's just because the other cars behind her don't have too much straight line speed. The Lotus, the Porsche, neither of those have any more horsepower than she does. Thomas looking for 7th. Will he take it? Yes, because that's a curb. And still the mess proceeds back here. Kari hasn't moved up very much. Neither has Ryan, for that matter. He's exactly where he started the race. Thrasher had the early momentum, but he threw it away when he missed this corner on the last lap. Not this one, the next one. And the way the vehicles ahead of him are color-coded, it looks like he's chasing the Powerpuff Girls down. His main goal right now is he just has to be about this distance when they get back onto the start straight. Start finish line. Straight. That, yes. Thrasher's gonna go for one on Travis. However, if you don't get all the way clear, you'll never make it around the outside. So that's not really the wisest passing zone to choose. Thomas just passed Isabella for 6th. And Thrasher has taken much too long to gain further positions, so... And even as I say this, I don't think he's gonna get that, because the AI is gonna go super wide there for no reason and just give it to him. Yeah, so while, yes, Thrasher is ahead of Thomas right now, he's not gonna gain much. He's gonna gain 3 points right now. And he needs to gain like 10 more after that in 2 races. And Thomas's lowest finish is probably like 7th or 8th. So that's almost impossible. This run would put Thrasher definitively in 2nd in points, but after Tier B, or Tier A, I don't think he wants that again. Thrasher's going for a really ill-advised move on Taylor. You can't hang in on the outside on this track. That just doesn't work. Or just period, unless you're in a race car. That's like the only time where outside passes work, because street cars just don't allow for that. They don't have enough grip. He's going to once again try the really awkward move, which doesn't ever work into this corner. You can try, but you'll have the outside for the corner you actually want to be on the inside for. And I would be surprised if Thomas doesn't take 5th from Travis on this lap, so that's going to be another position lost for the Thrasher Fund. He might have a shot down into turn 1 on Taylor. That'll be his last shot. Yeah, he'll have definitely the run, but Taylor Lotus is always brake later when they're under pressure, so they can just do that. May not matter, as of course my dog continues to bark at nothing. Again. I've had to try and record around him for the last 10-15 minutes now. I've already scrapped 2 recordings because he started barking before we even got going. But now it's too late to go back on it because there's only 1 lap to go. Ivan with a massive lead, albeit not the same kind of lead I expected him to have. Riley might actually just hang on to 2nd, which would be really odd, but this track is kind of not easy to pass in. Than barking, so that means there must be something vaguely important that he's barking at. It probably just means somebody is getting inside, which, thank God, because that means that they can shut him up if he starts barking again. This race has not been terribly interesting. Riley gets rated again, Thrasher getting desperate for those extra places, clearly. How many times has she been run into in this championship? That's at least like the 4th time. She managed to keep it going forwards, and well, Ivan will win pretty convincingly here at Thunderbolt. I think the actual highlight is actually Riley getting 2nd. Considering where she's been finishing lately, and she barely got it. She would not have had it if this were a 5-lap race. At all. Thomas did not steal 4th from Taylor. Just barely missed it. And with those results, it's safe to say that Thrasher is the only one relevant in this points fight. Yeah, it's 8 points between them, because we have 2 races to go. 30 points left on offer, so it's only the top 5 that can win from here, and that would require ridiculous circumstances. Well, that would first of all require either Ryan or Hikari winning both races, which is already unrealistic as it is. I don't really think Ryan's won very many races, he's just been consistently near the top 5-ish area. Because you figure 210 points to earn. Kind of average score is 6, so like average number would be about 84 to 90 or so. That would be if you finished 5th in every race, you would have 84 total. So yeah, he's right around that average area, especially if he gets another 5th in like a 4th place. Or 5th and 6th place. Anyway, on to Spa. Enough math. The Spa? Okay, me. At Spa, certainly an interesting starting grid. Crucially, Thrasher starts ahead of Thomas by a couple of spots. And we'll have some easy prey to target with the 2 Porsche drivers, especially down that big back straightaway. Meanwhile, Thomas will have to negotiate Cam, which will be a slightly more difficult overtake than any of the other vehicles that are around those 2. Why do I have to keep toggling this leaderboard? If I keep putting it like that, that obviously means I want it that way. I don't want to drive. Because Ryan is just out of here. He's... Well, I mean, he's in 3rd. I thought he was getting further than that. I thought he started from further back. Hikari just sandwiches Thrasher into the inside wall. And everything is already filed out single line. Except for apparently what's happening back here with Riley and Cam, as it looks like the Silent Hill Grand Prix is going on right now, and from 9th place I can barely see the top 3. Eric has just passed Travis, or defended from Travis, one way or the other. Dedrick is currently your leader. The Supra's got a slight power advantage over that. Oh my god, Hikari has just suddenly made an appearance. Thrasher has suddenly made a reappearance. He's gonna try and pass Hikari, but the outside here is really risky. And maybe, perhaps? I don't know. Yeah, he's gonna get it, I think. He could have, but he didn't go back down the track. And, okay, never mind. I was like, if he doesn't botch the exit, he can still get him, but AI did AI things and was like, oh, a corner exit, whatever shall I do? Thomas is up 1 place, but he's obviously still got more to go. Thank you, Captain Obvious. But Hikari is not going to be an easy overtake for Thrasher, if it can even be made at all. The pass that throws somebody off their line, Thrasher, if he's close enough to that, can follow him through. That's about it. And Kira has the top speed to kind of hold station at Spa, which is something that he can't really say about many other tracks. So that'll be of use to him, but how much of use, I don't know. Riley is currently still in a points position. I didn't point it out because I was kind of trying to get to the next race, but with that 2nd place, let's put her up to tied with Gemini for 14th, and only 1 other point behind Taylor, so finishing here would get her to like 13th in points. Hikari isn't really getting much closer to Travis, so Thrasher is having to take desperate measures. Ryan, I assume, passed Akira into the chicane. Akira didn't like that, but there's not much he can really do about it. Surprisingly, Thomas did not manage to overtake the Corvette. Yeah, oh, now he has. Riley, I would recommend getting back across the track. No? Okay. Alright then, keep your weird racing line. No wonder you're last in points. Here we go. Hikari's got the run on Travis. If he's nearby, Thrasher can pounce when one of them... Never mind. Hikari's already ahead of him, and Travis didn't even make a challenge. That's not gonna work. Yeah, I know. You better just get back behind him. That ain't gonna get you anywhere. So Thomas now in 9th. And 10, 8, 6, 4, or 5, 4. So Thrasher would gain 2 points right now, possibly 3, as he's just passed Travis. So now he'll gain 3. The lead will be down to 6 points going into the final race. If things stayed this way, which I doubt. Oh my god. That was weird. But, oh, great news for Thrasher, who's gonna maybe get another place. O'Reilly still made no progress on any other positions, as indeed Thrasher will pass Hikari and possibly even set his sights on Eric, but that's gonna be risky. At least here it will be. If he waits, it won't be. And he waits, so it won't be. Thrilling commentary, me. My god, how do I do it? Thomas is gonna make the pass through Eau Rouge of all places, so that'll put him in 8th. Problem is that F40 is not a slouch in a straight line. So it's not going to be that simple. Thrasher will have to catch him lacking while he's trying to pass the Supra. That's the main way I think that he's going to make that move. Because he gets really lucky and just happens to sense an opening, or if he gets a really good run down the back straight. But that usually doesn't transpire into anything, especially considering I think the F40 has probably got slightly better handling than the Ford. It's hard to tell right now because both are being kind of inhibited by the Supra. Which, as I mentioned earlier, the Supra has enough horsepower to kind of be, you know, survive around Spa. Which is an advantage that something like, say, a Lotus, as you see there, 13th and 14th, cannot say. I don't know how the Porsche is still leading, how Ryan hasn't dealt with that yet. Of course, if Thrasher goes for something rash, he has to be aware Hikari is right behind him. You can pretty much taste his exhaust fumes with how close he is to him. Meanwhile, Thomas is not all that much closer to Cam. I figured he'd be closer than that. He's gonna nudge Eric. You know, give him a little intimidation factor. Eric is gonna go for it on Akira. But on the outside, that is very risky business. So he's gonna cut back to the inside. But he's distracted himself for so long that Thrasher has an opportunity on him. Been focused on the wrong thing, Eric. Now this is gonna be really awkward to watch. Thrasher just kind of backs out wisely because those two are already going to fight over it. He kept his foot on it. Never mind, now he's gonna get yeeted instead. Had he kept his foot on it like a smart person instead of an AI, and now Hikaru is gonna go for that, so that's really going to ruin him. Oh, come on, here we go now. Oh, what am I looking at here? Thrasher will barely sustain his position. And I mean barely. I'm not quite sure how Akira is still third. I'm not really quite sure how Schwartz is still leading. How has Wolf not done anything about that yet? I mean, he's there now, but I think it's a day late and dollar short at this point. So now at this point, he only gains 1 point on O'Reilly, and he still has to cut down 8 at the final round, which I find highly unlikely. Also interesting that while I say the Supra can hang on, not for Gemini. That's just not a thing he can do apparently. Now this is me from post, who is having to kind of react to this again because I didn't really pay much attention before. Couldn't because I got interrupted. As you can hear my mic turning off there. Yeah, Schwartz wins. I don't really know how Ryan couldn't get to him. Mike, you'd think that'd have been easy around Spa, but no. Never happened. I should be changing the camera around in a second. I think I was obviously... Ryan clearly displeased with what just happened. Just rear ends Schwartz. Apparently Thomas took the spot from Thrasher last second according to those results. But... the game credited Thrasher with 6th, not 7th. And it switched them around. It's like the game pretended the last, 50 yards of the race happened. Or something. It was really weird, but... You know, at this point, as I'm still trying to deal with the background noise and such. When you inevitably get out, there we go. It's really awkward because I'm trying to work off of timing that wasn't really my own. Yeah, it is 7 points between Thrasher and Thomas. So, all Thomas would need is, he would need 4th place, and he'd get it. No matter where Thrasher finished. Even if he won, they would tie. And I think the game would just put Thomas on top. So, yeah, on to Mugello. Here in the starting grid of Mugello, the final race of Tier C. I may or may not have accidentally started the race before looking at the session because I definitely input down the directional pad to select session, and the game just kind of ignored that and started, and then, I just accidentally hit drive instead of session. Luckily the game still pauses. As long as I'm on the track, it'll pause. Well, Thrasher's a little bit ahead of Thomas, but this seems like all too familiar territory considering what just happened before. I got interrupted right on the last lap of the race because my grandparents came down looking for something. I really don't know. They didn't exactly say. They just kind of wandered around the basement for 5 minutes and just walked away. Yeah, Thrasher does start ahead of Thomas. If Thomas gets 5th, I think he clinches the championship because it is 7 points difference? No, wait. He needs 4th, I think, if I read it right. I don't know. There'll be text annotations saying that and editing, but I couldn't say anything. Maybe there'll be even track 2 where I'll just put in post what I'm thinking. Because I obviously looked at what happened, but couldn't talk because there was a bunch of other people there that would wonder what the hell I'm talking about. Inconveniently, my grandpa is also named Thomas, so if I said anything about him, my grandpa would probably be like, huh? 'Cause I don't refer to him as that, I refer to him as Grandpa, obviously, but at any rate. I missed. Well, Thrash is already off to a decent start. He's gonna get 2 places right off the gate. Meanwhile, Thomas will gain -2. He's gonna get passed by 2 cars at the start. But of course, if Thrasher doesn't get a top 5, then he doesn't win either way, so... He has just enough points if Thomas doesn't score anything. He's scoring 8 right now, he needs 7. Over Thomas. Thomas is in a point, so now they'd finish with a tie. And I don't know who the game would give it to. But I'm sure O'Reilly would probably get it anyway. Because he was there at the front before that. Meanwhile, Ivan is set to take another low-effort victory. Just like I'm pretty sure the previous race. No, I'm dumb. That was something else. That was Zandvoort. He took an easy win. Even Riley went up a couple of places off that start. That was how weird that was. Yeah, her and Gemini are still tied in points for 14th. And she's currently ahead of him in 6th, while Gemini is right behind in 7th, who went down. Leaderboard was really confused. Ikari might have just made an overtake on him, crucially. Yeah, that'll put him. Yeah, that's gonna put him back out of the points. He has to fight his way back in. Meanwhile, Thrasher is just kind of there. He's, as long as Thomas isn't scoring 8th or higher, Thrasher doesn't really need to get anywhere from here. He doesn't really need to. No less, it'll also be difficult for him to get much higher because the vehicles in front of him are not exactly slow. GT40 is slightly faster than the R8, but it really isn't by much. Gemini is going to try and pass Riley. Thomas has been passed by Ryan as well. And possibly James, if things persist as they are. Somebody got shoved off, it would be Akira. We don't really know what happened there. So Thrasher can just kind of ride it out in this one. I think Thomas just threw this away. He couldn't get high. Definitely couldn't get that way. He couldn't get enough points. Couldn't even get points at all. So far. He just got caught at the wrong place at the wrong time. It would take quite some bizarre events to occur for him to recover to 9th. And that's 9th, assuming Thrasher doesn't gain any more places. So Isabella is staying on him, but I don't see an overtake ever happening because of the deficit in horsepower between these two cars. Yeah, I think Thrasher's just kind of good to exist here, and I think he scores just enough points to steal it. You pull a Travis and yoink it from Thomas in the last race. Eric is kind of in the picture, but he's also not at the same time. He's right in that bizarre gray area. You know, like within a second, but not close enough to pass. And here comes Gemini looking to steal the title of second worst. And he's gonna do that. Thomas is in 12th now. Taylor lost 3 places in the time I cut away from this part of the grid. That is not the road. They're gonna go right into the grass, to be honest. Ryan just passed Schwartz, other fellow German driver. These drivers do have nationalities and such. Ivan's from Russia, Eric from Finland, Cam, Thrasher, Isabella, Riley, and Gemini, all from America. Ricard is from Japan. Schwartz and Ryan are from Germany. Taylor is from America. James is from America. Thomas is from Scotland. Travis is from America. And Akira, obviously, also from Japan. Gina, as previously mentioned, is from Italy. Shoji is also from Japan. And Yoshiro is also from Japan. And there might be drivers I'm missing. Thrasher's got a good shot at taking a podium spot, just kind of adding salt to Thomas's wound, but he's going to go to the other side. That's not the side you typically pass on, unless you dive really late into the corner. We break at pretty much the same time. Thrasher's gonna almost hold it on the outside of Cam. He's gonna remain relevant. The fact that this track keeps switching back makes it really hard to actually establish a dominant overtake if your cars are remotely even, and no, that place will not be taken. I don't think it's needed though, unless I'm forgetting the point standing that I looked at not 10 minutes ago. Riley has also fallen to Ryan. Gemini still in 6th, Hikari finding no way around him. With all the fighting these two did, Isabella is now in the picture. It'll be another win for Ivan. If he had had this at the beginning of the championship, he might have been able to compete. But No, it was instead relegated to a last-minute resurgence, which would still put him pretty high in the championship. Eric will also get pretty high. He should be best of the rest, or somewhere around there. Cam will take a podium. Isabella gets an impressive 5th, despite having a very weak car in a straight line. Thrasher almost stole 3rd. He was 10th off. Riley does score in the final round, but not enough to not finish last in points, and Thomas gets nothing in 12th. Meaning, by a singular point, Thrasher has stolen the championship. I don't know what to say about that. There's much to say. That's just ridiculous. It's not scripted, I swear. And no, matter of fact, Ivan is best of the rest. Eric relegated to 7th after, despite finishing second to Ivan. Oh. What's the biggest difference between drivers and shared cars? The 2 Super drivers are 8 points apart. The 2 Lotus drivers are 7 points apart. 2 Porsche drivers are 26 points apart. Despite being the champion of the previous tier, Travis couldn't hold much to Dedrick in this one. The 2 Mercedes drivers are 7 points apart. The 2 Nissan drivers are pretty much dead even. And then the 2 Ford drivers are also only a singular point apart. So yeah, Travis, just because you won a championship doesn't mean you should get complacent. There's still much more to win here in the Challenge Series. So with that championship in the books, we will look to D tier. Got a preview of some of the drivers. One new debut right there, fewer returns, and much more to be revealed later. But that's later.